Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another stream. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are all hanging in there with Bitcoin and crypto. I know for the past few days, right, we haven't really seen much movements for Bitcoin and just crypto in general, right? But there is, in fact, a fair few things I want to talk about in today's stream, okay, that, will happen for Bitcoin. I've been telling you guys, for the past few days, few weeks, right? Since Bitcoin has in fact been pumping, and we saw Bitcoin just recently pump back up to $30,000, and at one point, yes, we actually saw Bitcoin touch $31,000 for a fair few times, right? But it did in fact have a rejection back down to the downside to $30,000. So you guys can just clearly see that Bitcoin right now is in fact having this support level, okay, of $30,000. That's what I want to say, right? We haven't actually seen Bitcoin just yet break over $31,000. So, we haven't actually seen Bitcoin break $32,000, right? We haven't actually seen Bitcoin touch $32,000 just yet during this year. But I reckon that's going to happen very, very soon for sure. So in this stream, I want to obviously talk about that. I want to talk about, what is happening with Bitcoin? Why isn't Bitcoin moving up to the upside? Why is Bitcoin stuck at $30,000? Why isn't Bitcoin breaking above this resistance line of $31,000 and continuing to pump up to the upside? Why is that? Well, we're going to talk about it, right? And of course, there is in fact a fair few charts that I want to show you guys. Okay, new charts, right? That I want to show you guys for today's stream. So overall, Bitcoin is not moving, still consolidating, okay, at $30,000. Okay, and yes, like I said, every time we see Bitcoin touch $31,000, it actually drops it back down to 30K, right? And that's been happening ever since pretty much the 24th of June. So that was about 6 days ago, right? So yes, a couple of days now where we see Bitcoin not really moving, pretty much still consolidating at this level, right? But you also understand this is completely normal. This is not the first time that we have seen Bitcoin, consolidate, right? We have in fact seen that a fair bit of times for the past few weeks, even for the past few months, even for the past few years, right? Bitcoin does in fact consolidate a fair bit of times. Okay, it's not always gonna pump like crazy. It's not always gonna, dump or crash like crazy. Some days, right, it's just gonna move on its side and just consolidate, right? So that is exactly what we are in fact seeing right now. You guys just clearly see that Bitcoin is obviously consolidating, okay? So there's only two ways for Bitcoin to move, right? It's either going to go up, okay, or it's going to go down, okay? It really all depends. And I told you guys, right, if Bitcoin does in fact have a correction back down to the downside, it's not going to be a crash, right? It's nothing going to be anything too major. We're not going to see like a massive crash for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin were to, drop, it's going to most likely be around $29,000, $28,000, maybe even $27,000. But I don't see Bitcoin dropping, back down to like $24,000 or $23,000 or even $20,000 ever again, right? That's just my personal opinion. I've been mentioning that many times. But overall, guys, the market today not really moving. You guys can see for the past 24 hours, Bitcoin is in fact having a slight pump, but nothing too crazy at all. Same with Ethereum. A fair few altcoins today are not really moving, but check out Solana. Solana today for the past 24 hours is actually up 8%. 8%. Okay, so Solana is actually pumping, right? You guys can just clearly see that right now. Solana is just below $18, $17 right now. So Solana is in fact pumping, which is absolutely amazing to see. I'm not quite sure why Solana is pumping, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It has to do with something, but I'm not quite sure why. But it is pumping, and you guys can clearly see Bitcoin Cash is obviously pumping as well. It's continuing to pump. Okay, it's up 5% today for the past week. It's up 80%. And remember, like a couple of days ago, it was up like over 100% for the past week, right? You guys can clearly see for the past month, 30 days, it's up over 100%, 109% for Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash has been absolutely skyrocketing, right? For the past few days now, which is absolutely amazing to see. But you guys can see, right, for the past 24 hours, majority of altcoins today in the market are not really moving. In fact, they are in fact having a slight drop, but nothing too crazy, right? Nothing too crazy. The global crypto market cap is currently at 1.17 trillion. The dominance for Bitcoin is still over 50%, which is great to see as always. 50.4%. Ethereum is still at 19%. The dominance for Ethereum hasn't really moved, but the Bitcoin dominance is in fact moving. So that's, amazing to see. Now let's get to the first chart. I actually showed you guys this chart, I think yesterday. Okay, but it shows you guys that Bitcoin, okay, is going to reach most likely $35,000. Okay, the next leg up, the next pump up, we will in fact see Bitcoin reach at least around, I want to say $34,000 to $35,000. It's a magnet, right? That's going to happen for Bitcoin. So when we do in fact see Bitcoin break above $31,000 and it touches $32,000, I think that's where, the rally, the next leg up will continue for Bitcoin. So $35,000, yes, that is very, very possible in the next upcoming few weeks, right? So it's looking pretty good. And you guys can clearly see that this chart right here, haven't showed you guys this one before yet, but it's interesting. So Bitcoin will likely do one of these two movements. Okay, are you ready for a pump? So either way, you guys can clearly see if Bitcoin does in fact have a correction, like I said, okay, it's not going to have a major correction back down to the downside. Most likely it's going to have a small correction. And this chart is indicating that Bitcoin will potentially, right, if it does drop, it will drop to $29.1 thousand. Okay, so let's just say Bitcoin does in fact have a correction, right, to $29,000. Eventually it's going to bounce back up, no matter what happens, guys. If Bitcoin drops back down to 29K, 28K, 27K, even 26K, let's just say, right, eventually it's going to, bounce back up to $30,000 and of course $35,000. It seems like a lot of people out there are in fact predicting, right, that Bitcoin in the next upcoming few weeks, right, or so very, very soon, will in fact have a movement up to $35,000. And that's going to be absolutely massive for Bitcoin because that's obviously going to be reaching a new high for this year in 2023, obviously, right? So that's going to be very, very bullish. And I think that will obviously happen, right? This rally will in fact continue. This rally that we have in fact been seeing all of this year in 2023 will continue, guys. That's what you guys have to understand, right? So for all the people out there that think, we're going to see Bitcoin, drop back down to its previous lows, which was, $15,000, $16,000, it's not going to happen ever, right? Very, very unlikely. I don't even think Bitcoin has a chance here to even go back down to $20,000 ever again, right? I don't think we will ever see a 20K Bitcoin ever again in history, right? That's it. It's all up from here, guys, right? So that's that. Okay, Bitcoin will most likely make these two movements. Okay, either a correction back down slightly and then a bounce up, or it's just gonna, shoot up, right? So time will tell. We will see. I will obviously keep you guys updated. But yes, I think, yeah, Bitcoin could potentially have a small correction down to the downside, and then it'll just pump back up, right? That can happen. So I'm gonna stick with it. Now, I did in fact show you guys this chart as well, but it's pretty important, right? Bitcoin right now is in fact forming, okay, a symmetrical triangle. And you guys can clearly see a symmetrical triangle. Okay, this is a bullish pattern right here for a symmetrical triangle because it's obviously breaking out, right, of the triangle. You guys can clearly see that. So Bitcoin could potentially do that as well. We might not even see Bitcoin have a correction back down to the downside. We might actually see it just pump up, right? So that is pretty amazing. You know what I mean? We will see. We will see. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys personally think, Bitcoin's going to go, right, in the next few days, few weeks, right? Do you guys think, Bitcoin will be sticking at $30,000 at this support level of 30K and then it will just shoot up? Or do you guys think Bitcoin's going to have a small correction down to the downside and then it will just pump back up to 30K, 31K and then reach on your all-time high? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know personally. It could have a correction and then it'll bounce back up. That's most likely what it's going to do, right? So we could potentially see Bitcoin, drop back down to like $29,000 or 28, right? Now, I haven't showed you guys this chart yet, and this chart is pretty interesting. I must say, a lot of things are in fact going on right here, right? So we know there is in fact a 4-year cycle, okay? Every 4 years, right? We do in fact enter either a bull market or a bear market, right? It happens pretty much every 4 years, and obviously in the next upcoming few years, right? 2024, 2025. Those are going to be some amazing years for Bitcoin and crypto, right? Especially 2025, okay? Because that is when, guys, we will in fact officially, whoops, I just hit my mic. we will officially be, in the next bull market, right? What we saw in 2021 will pretty much happen in 2025. So we're going to see Bitcoin pump reaching a new all-time high, of course, and it's going to be alt season. And that's where we're going to see, altcoins pump as well. Okay, just like what we saw in 2021, right? We saw Solana pumping like crazy in 2021. We saw Polygon, right? We saw Axie Infinity. That was also another great altcoin that was absolutely pumping. So many altcoins. I could name literally tens and hundreds of them that were in fact pumping. We saw Dogecoin, we saw Shiba Inu, right? Cardano even, right? We saw a lot of altcoins pumping in the year 2021. So that was in fact alt season. And obviously alt season's gonna come up as well, right? In the next upcoming few years, 2024 and especially 2025. So be excited for that. But yes, the target is in fact $34,500, right? In the next push up, right? So like I said, it seems like a lot of people are in fact predicting that $35,000 is the next target, right, in the next upcoming few weeks. So be prepared for that. Okay, for all my Bitcoin holders out there, be prepared for 35k Bitcoin, right? Because that is in fact coming very, very soon. So be prepared. And we are in fact in still, a buy area. How do I know we are in fact in a buy area? Well, you guys can clearly see this chart, and I've showed you guys this chart before, actually in my most previous video. Now, if you guys haven't seen my most previous videos, the ones that I literally uploaded a few hours ago, you should definitely check them out. But I'll show you guys this chart. Okay, and this is the value map. And I've been telling you guys many times that we are in fact still in a buy zone. Okay, we are in fact in the accumulation zone still. We all should be accumulating, we all should be buying. Okay, we all should be stacking as much Bitcoin as we possibly can, right? That's what you guys understand. Even though yes, Bitcoin has in fact been pumping, but Bitcoin is nowhere near its previous all-time highs, right? So just think about that. Okay, it's nowhere near its previous all-time highs. We are still in a bear market. I want to say we are in fact 100% in a bull market just yet, right? Altcoins are still down, they're still cheap, and Bitcoin is still down, right? It's not even halfway through its previous all-time highs, not even, right? So you guys can clearly see this chart is showing this red line, yellow line, green line, and a light blue line, and like a navy blue line, like a dark blue line, right? The bottom one, and it's indicating that the red is heavy overvalued, the yellow one is overvalued, the green one is fair value, the light blue one is undervalued, and the navy blue is heavy undervalued. So clearly where we are right now for Bitcoin, you guys can clearly see it's obviously in the area of the light blue area, which is undervalued. And that's very true. Bitcoin is obviously undervalued, right? I've been telling us that many times. Imagine buying and stacking and DCAing into Bitcoin at $30,000 versus when Bitcoin's at 100K. Can you imagine trying to accumulate one for Bitcoin when Bitcoin is at 100K? Obviously, it's going to be so much harder. And this is why I always tell you guys, take this as an option right now to buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can while it's still below $100,000. Because I'm telling you guys right now, I'm telling you guys this right now. In the next bull market, we will in fact see a 100K Bitcoin easily, right? I reckon that 200K Bitcoin is very possible, 250K Bitcoin is very possible, maybe even a 300K Bitcoin. Imagine buying Bitcoin over 100K. Imagine how much harder it will be. So that's why I've been telling you guys for the past few months, when Bitcoin has in fact been crashing, to take this as an opportunity to buy. Is still undervalued, guys. Okay, a lot of you guys think it's too late to invest into Bitcoin, but it's not. Bitcoin will be worth way more than 100K. It's going to be worth millions straight away. I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. Millions of dollars per Bitcoin in the future. Long term, of course, right? I'm not talking short term. So in the next few decades, 2030, 2035, 2040, 2050, 2060, 2070, 2080, those years, Bitcoin's going to be worth millions of dollars per Bitcoin. Mark my words on that. Okay, so buying Bitcoin right now at 30K is cheap. You may think it's a lot, but it's not. Imagine, right? Put it in this perspective. 10 years ago, 2013. Back in 2013, Bitcoin was like $100 per Bitcoin, right? It was like, it literally just touched $100 for the very first time back in 2013. Literally 10 years ago. Just put that in your head. 10 years ago. Right now, 10 years later, Bitcoin is now worth $30,000. I remember at one point, Bitcoin was worth 69K. It was worth almost 100K per Bitcoin. And that was just a 10-year time period. So imagine where Bitcoin will be 10 years from now. I honestly think we will in fact see a $1 million Bitcoin, okay, 10 years from now. That is just my personal opinion. We know a lot of people out there are in fact predicting that Bitcoin will easily reach $1 million by the year 2030. Someone like Kathy Wood, I've been mentioning this many times. Okay, she has mentioned, right? Kathy Wood has mentioned that we will in fact see a $1 million Bitcoin by the year 2030. That is literally less than 7 years from now. So just think about that. Imagine actually buying into Bitcoin, like FOMOing into Bitcoin at $1 million. Like, for all the people that say, when is it too late to invest into Bitcoin? When Bitcoin's like hundreds and thousands of dollars and over $1 million, it'll be too late to invest into Bitcoin because, like, that's crazy price. You know what I mean? That is in fact a crazy price. Like, you can easily nowadays, buy 0.1 worth of Bitcoin, 0.2 worth of Bitcoin, 0.5 worth of a Bitcoin, half of a Bitcoin. That's still amazing. It's better than nothing, guys. Okay. So if you're watching this stream right now, you're watching this video, guys, and you own one full Bitcoin, you are in fact in the 1%. Okay, because obviously there's just not enough Bitcoins to go around in the world. So this chart just shows you guys that Bitcoin is super undervalued. We're still in a great buy zone right now. And I hope you guys that are in fact watching this stream are in fact taking this as an opportunity to buy more Bitcoin, to stack more Bitcoin. Don't miss this opportunity, guys, because trust me, if you're not taking advantage right now of these prices in Bitcoin and crypto, right, you're going to regret it later. Because I'm saying is right now, the bull market is of course right around the corner. We're going to see Bitcoin pump. We're going to see altcoins pump. I don't want you guys to have that regret. Okay. And once Bitcoin does in fact pump, we will never see Bitcoin at 30K ever again. Mark my words, we'll never see Bitcoin at 30K ever again. Right. So take this as an opportunity, okay, to buy more, to stack more, right? But that's that, okay? So yes, we know the halving is obviously about to happen. If you survive all of 2022, then you can literally survive anything, okay? So Bitcoin dropped 77%, over 70%, almost 80% from its previous all-time highs to its previous lows back 2022. So that was crazy, right? So you guys can clearly see every single time we have the halving event for Bitcoin, it always tends to reach a new all-time high. And that's where Bitcoin really tends to pump the most, right? So this is what I'm trying to tell you guys, right? Take this as an opportunity to buy Bitcoin where it is at right now, right? $30,000 before it's too late, because Bitcoin is about to pump, right? Time is ticking. The clock is ticking for Bitcoin. It's about to pump. The halving is obviously going to happen less than 1 year from now. So pretty much you have less than 1 year to buy Bitcoin, at these cheap prices, pretty much, right? Once the halving happens, okay, especially, the end of the year 2024, we're going to see Bitcoin pump like crazy, right? Like crazy, trust me. Like what we saw in late 2020, towards the end of the year in 2020, that's when we really saw Bitcoin pump, and early of 2021, that's what we're going to happen. That's what we're going to see happen for Bitcoin in the year 2024 and 2025, right? The same thing. You guys can clearly see every single time we have the halving, it pumps, right? So another rally is coming. Be prepared, guys. Be prepared. Now, I've showed you guys this before, and it's just very true, very, very simple, self-explanatory, right? 21 million Bitcoins. We know there's a supply limit of 21 million Bitcoins. Not everyone out there can own one full Bitcoin, even a percentage of a Bitcoin. There's just not enough to go around, right? There's 8 billion, over 8 billion people, okay? 8 billion people that are in fact living on Earth, and there's only 21 million Bitcoins. Put that in a perspective, right? Clearly not enough, okay? Not enough Bitcoins to go around for everyone. So if you really think about it, low supply, high demand. The price will keep eventually rising, guys, okay? So just think about that. And obviously, we have in fact been losing millions of Bitcoins for the past few years, right? We all know that. Okay, so think about it, right? We are in fact losing more and more and more Bitcoins, even from the past few years. We have lost estimated, people are in fact saying we have lost, 4 to 5 million Bitcoins. So that puts us at like 16 million Bitcoins. 21 million Bitcoins is already scarce itself. 15 million, 16 million, that's even more scarce. Bitcoin is literally the most scarce asset out there. And guess what, guys? A lot of these Bitcoin addresses, right? A lot of these crypto addresses are in fact holding one full Bitcoin, and they're just holding it. They're not selling it, right? They are simply holding it. People are now realizing where Bitcoin is heading, and they are simply just holding it. They are not selling it. So once Bitcoin, okay, once more people keep, adopting and stacking into, Bitcoin, and they're hodling it for long term, the price will eventually keep rising because there's just not enough Bitcoins to go around, guys, right? Not everyone in the world, okay, will own Bitcoin, okay? And eventually it's going to become global, right? A lot of people, you're going to start seeing a lot of people start using Bitcoin as payments to pay for things, right? But not everyone out there can have one full Bitcoin. So that's why, guys, I've been telling guys, I've been begging you guys to accumulate at least one full Bitcoin, because I really do believe if you own one full Bitcoin long term, I'm talking decades from now, it's going to be extremely rare. It's sort of rare today to own one full Bitcoin, obviously, but it's going to be extremely more rare in the future to own one full Bitcoin, right? So just think about that. Okay, and that's why, guys, ever since I started this YouTube channel early 2022, I've been begging you guys to accumulate one full Bitcoin, just one full Bitcoin, right? For everyone that's asking, how many Bitcoin should I hodl to, be rich in the future? One. Just hold one. Okay, have that goal of this year in 2023 to stack and hold and to adopt one full Bitcoin. That is it. And once you do, in fact, have that goal, if you want to keep going, right? The more Bitcoins you stack, the more wealthier you'll be in the future. I really do believe in that, guys. Okay, I really do believe in that. So if you have one Bitcoin, go for 2, go for 3, go for 5, go for 10, go for 20, go for 30, go for 50. Just keep stacking, guys. Don't stop. Don't stop. Just keep stacking. Trust me, guys. Okay, we saw MicroStrategy, right? A company, right? And they are obviously the biggest company out there that holds a whole bunch of Bitcoin. They hold like over 150,000 Bitcoins, 152,333 Bitcoins. And yesterday they bought, 12,333 Bitcoins. They are still stacking. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what we should do as well. Okay, Michael Saylor is obviously a very, very smart man. He's obviously a Bitcoin maximus. I think he only invests and buys into Bitcoin. He doesn't even buy Ethereum or any other altcoins. He literally just buys Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure. I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure he's a Bitcoin maximus. All he does is talk about Bitcoin. And we know yesterday, right, MicroStrategy bought, another 12,333 Bitcoins. So now in total, they hold, 152,000 Bitcoins. Just think about that, right? We should be stacking like what they are doing. Okay, they are very, very smart, obviously, and they're not going to sell it, right? They're going to be simply holding it for long term. Okay, so that being said, that's that, guys. Okay, just hold, stack more Bitcoin. Okay, don't stop. This is your opportunity to do that right now. Bitcoin, right? It's still not moving. Okay, it's still at $30,000. Just remember that, right? It's not moving. Okay, so it's still at $30,000. That's what's happening with Bitcoin right now. I'm not quite sure why Bitcoin is not really moving. We should be seeing a pump since MicroStrategy has bought a whole bunch of it, right? But I reckon a very huge pump is coming for Bitcoin, 100%, right? It's gonna shoot up to like $35,000, and that seems like what everyone is predicting. Okay, so that's that. So that's that. Let me give you guys a little update on the Bitcoin monthly returns. You guys can clearly see that June, okay, we are, up 11%, almost 12%. And this is pretty much the last day of June. So 100%, we are in fact going to be ending off this month in the greens. Thank God for that. Okay, because usually June, okay, Bitcoin doesn't really perform that well, right? And when I saw, back in May, right, we saw Bitcoin actually end off in the reds for the first time, right? January was a green month, February was a green month, March was a green month, April was a green month as well, but May was actually our first month ending it off in the reds. But June, okay, I thought, June, we're going to for sure end it off in the reds as well, because June, I said this many times, it doesn't really perform that well, right? Bitcoin doesn't really perform that well in June. But surprisingly, this year in 2023, it's performed absolutely amazing. Okay, so 100% we're going to end off this month in the greens, which is absolutely amazing to see. And then July. July is going to be a great month for Bitcoin, in my opinion, right? Because July, you guys have clearly seen in previous years, right? Bitcoin has been performing very, very well in July. You know what I mean? Even just last year, 2022, when we were in fact in a bear market, right? Remember, 2022 was a terrible year for Bitcoin and crypto. I think that was like literally the worst year. I think that was literally the worst bear market ever, guys, right? In Bitcoin history. That was just a terrible year. We saw so much things happening and Bitcoin was dropping massively. And that's what I always tell you guys, right? If you survive 2022 by holding and stacking into a crypto, right, in that year, you can literally survive anything. Like if you literally survived 2022, you can literally survive anything in crypto, right? So what we're seeing right now in Bitcoin and crypto is literally nothing compared to what we saw last year. Right, last year was just terrible. 2022 was just a bad year, right? But yeah, July next month, guys, should be a great month, 100%. So we will see. Okay, we will see. Now the Fin Greed Index right now is currently at 54, so this is actually gone back down to neutral, right? For the past few days, it's actually been in greed mode. Yesterday, we were in fact in greed mode. Last week, we were in fact in greed mode. Okay, we were actually in the greens at 65, but now, guys, okay, a week later, we are now back at 54 in neutral. It's obviously dropped massively. Yesterday, we were in fact at 62. Now it's at 54. So this has dropped a lot, right? But that's that. It is what it is. You know, Bitcoin is clearly not moving at all. Still at $30,000. So it's understandable why we are in fact back at neutral. And remember, altcoins are not moving as well. Altcoins are actually crashing slightly. Not much. Except Solana. Solana's pumping. But Bitcoin Cash is doing pretty good too, right? VeChain looks like has a new logo. Never seen this before. But VeChain has dropped, man. I remember buying VeChain. I still hold a bit more VeChain today, but I don't really hold that much. Actually, yeah, I don't hold that much. Just trying to look through the market, see what else is pumping other than Solana, because Solana is pumping. Same with Bitcoin Cash. Pepe is up 2%, which is great. CNX 8%. Have no idea what altcoin this is, but it's pumping, right? 8%. Wow. Compound 22%. Why is this pumping? Yeah, it's pumping today. That's interesting. But yeah, guys, Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin will recover, and it's already recovering. What am I talking about, right? If we go to the daily time frame, it's clearly recovering. You know what I mean? I didn't even need to explain anything. You guys can just clearly see like how much Bitcoin has in fact recovered. In fact, I can just show you guys on Coin Market Cap because it's a bit more easier. Show you guys, you know, what happened to Bitcoin at the beginning of 2023. So y'all can just clearly see that, right? Wait, how do I do this? Okay, let's just do it like that. You guys can clearly see, like, this was in fact our bottom, right? Who remembers? So yeah, we saw Bitcoin at $16,000 at one point. You guys can clearly see, right? Bitcoin did actually drop to $15,700, and that was in fact its bottom. So that would have been a great time to, you know, invest into Bitcoin. And hey, that's exactly what I did, right? When I saw Bitcoin at $15,900, I took that as an opportunity to buy more, and that's exactly what I did. Not trying to brag, but I'm just trying to tell you guys, like, I didn't, you know, have that mindset of timing the market. I just simply DCA'd, right? And I took that as an opportunity, you know, to buy more Bitcoin. But you guys can clearly see from 2023, you know, the beginning of 2023, that's when we really saw Bitcoin pump. You guys can just clearly see that. So obviously we are in fact, you know, seeing a recovery right now for Bitcoin. Okay, literally like, you know, 7 months ago, it was at $16,000. Now it's at $30,000. So we are up 15K, which is amazing to see for Bitcoin. You know what I mean? It really is. If we go to the 1 year chart, zoom in a little bit, you guys can clearly see like we are slowly but surely heading up to the upside, right? Eventually Bitcoin's gonna reach back up, you know, to $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, 69, which is previous all-time highs, and of course, you know, 70K and what. and whatnot, and it's just going to keep going up from there. Okay, so it's looking pretty good for Bitcoin, guys. Okay, and like I said many times, we are still, in a great buying zone right now for Bitcoin, right? We really are. Okay, it's never too late to buy Bitcoin, guys, and that's what I want you guys to understand, right? It's never too late to buy Bitcoin. Right now, it's still not late to buy Bitcoin, so please don't be that type of person to time the market to wait for Bitcoin to drop, back down to 29K. There's no difference between buying Bitcoin now at 30K versus buying Bitcoin when it drops to $28,000. That's if it drops back down to 28K, right? There's no real difference. It's still technically the same. You know what I mean? So just take action now, guys. Don't time the market. Always DCA into Bitcoin, no matter what. Okay, I've been telling us that many, many times. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but I'm telling you right now, if you really want to make money with Bitcoin and crypto, especially long term, this is the time to buy now, right? It really is. Even though, yes, Bitcoin has in fact been pumping, but right now is still a great time to buy Bitcoin. We all should be stacking right now. Okay, we are still in the buy zone. We are still in a bear market. Bitcoin is still cheap. These altcoins are still cheap. We all should be stacking right now, guys. Okay, I'm telling you guys that right now. Okay, we all should be stacking at least. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you guys haven't already, and of course subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's get to 3,000 subscribers. I would really, really, really appreciate that. If you guys aren't in fact, in the crypto space, if you guys aren't in fact crypto investors and traders just like myself, subscribe. Let's make that money together. Okay, in this market, because soon we are all about to become millionaires. 100%. That's loading up, right? We're about to be millionaires in the next bull market. So let's do this together. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys haven't seen my most previous videos that I uploaded a few hours ago, definitely check them out. It's pretty interesting, so don't miss that. But I'll catch you guys tomorrow with more videos, and of course another stream as always. I've been streaming every single day for the past like over a month now, and I'm still gonna continue to do that because I enjoy it, right? And there's a lot to talk about for Bitcoin and crypto, right? There really is. So obviously I'm going to keep doing this daily. But on that, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys all in my next video. Have a blessed day, guys.